So I decided to pick this up. Pretty big investment, but I think it should be worth it.
And I'm gonna see how quickly I can spend $10,000. The issue is I don't actually want anything. Alright, so the total amount comes out to something like $21,000.
Honestly, what would be the maximum budget that you would want to spend?
30 mil.
I think it's quite a high statistical probability that you end up a billionaire. So some of you watch my videos, and quite frankly, you hate me. Some are envious, some think I show off or brag way too much. And quite frankly, if you've only seen 1 or 2 of my videos in the past, I don't blame you. But I think that all the feelings that you are feeling stem from the fact that you think we're different. And quite frankly, we're not. You know, something like the Good Life Eatery, that's like 15 pounds. I can't pay 15 pounds for that at this point. That's not something I can afford. I am you, you are me. We are no different, except for some of you, you might be the version of me 6 years ago. The version of me that was the 16-year-old scared kid who just wanted to take care of him and his single mom. All I ever wanted to do back at that age was just take me and my mom out of the dark, depressing hole that we were in. Now, what you're about to see is a true rags to riches story. So now what I want to do is I want to take this, I want to share my journey. If that inspires and that motivates people along the way, I've accomplished my goal. One of my main problems is looking so far ahead that I don't take time to stop and think about how far I've come. At the end of the day, I am proud of what I achieve daily, but sometimes you just get so caught up in the bigger picture. You get caught up in this person who's doing this more than you. You get this person who's done this that you haven't done. Be proud of where you are and keep moving forward, but don't forget what you've already accomplished and achieved. So I'm close with my coach and I'm not playing football for them next year just because I seriously have no time. But we got in contact with the owner. So the owner, the coach, and I had a conference call while I was in America about me possibly running their social media. So that's confirmed right now. I'm going to be taking over their Instagram, help grow their Instagram for them and do posts for them. As you saw in today's video, I'm now getting paid to run a really big clubs. You know, there's a lot of revenue there. They make quite a bit of money a year. It really is a serious business, and I'm getting paid a good amount of money to run their branding, their marketing, run their social media and brand them in the proper way. As I said, if you saw last video, I have experience with social media. Instagram, I used to flip accounts, I used to rebrand accounts. What I want to talk to you quickly about is enjoying the process. Now, you're not going to find happiness from when you get that first 1,000 subscribers or when you make that first million. Maybe in my case it's not first million, but when you make 1,000 in a month. What you are going to find enjoyment from is the tedious sort of stuff, you know, making channel art or talking to clients. It's the little sort of things, and it's literally about enjoying the process. And if you can find a way to do that, then maybe you're doing the wrong thing. I have my goals. One of them is to read 52 books, 1 book a week. And yeah, just continue absorbing knowledge and, you know, going through books, and the way I could only describe it is like mining for gold. And that's really what I'm doing. I'm trying to get the info and extract it and then have it saved in my mind and then apply it. When I came back to London, I really got serious and I looked at what goals I wanted to accomplish. One of them was to make 15,000. You know, just make 15,000. That doesn't mean have 15,000 in my bank account at the end of the year or whatever. Make 15,000 pounds in a year's time. I set that goal on the 19th, 11 days ago, and since then I've made 514 pounds and 89 pence. So 11 days, 515 pounds. I'm on track. That is 1/30th of the way there in 11 days. So hopefully I can keep it up. So
4 times a week, I am bringing in food myself, because if I go off campus, my options are Pret a Manger, McDonald's, Subway. Even if I try to Uber Eats or Deliveroo to my school, you know, something like the Good Life Eatery, that's like 15 pounds. A place like the Good Life Eatery, the micronutrients, the nutritional content is really good, but I can't pay 15 pounds for that. Maybe not now, maybe, who knows, in a year. At this point, that's not something I can afford.
I was basically doing everything wrong. And for the second half of 2016, after I signed that first clan, I had no luck. I signed 0 more clans. But quite frankly, it didn't matter to me. I was having the time of my life. I was on top of the world. I was stepping into the man that I knew I could be. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes us into 2017, which was the most life-changing year of my life.
You end up feeling quite lonely from that, and it's something I had to deal with for quite a while. But look, that's fine. Honestly, I would rather be alone with my own thoughts than with people who are negative, berate what I'm trying to do in my life, because at the end of the day, those people are just scared that you're gonna rise up and find no use from them anymore. Don't get angry at people when they throw negativity, throw hate your way, because at the end of the day, they're just scared that you're gonna develop so much that you find no use for them anymore. I've seen that time and time again in my life.
So guys, there's this little company, you might have heard of them, they're called Bang & Olufsen. I'm so excited. Basically, Bob, who's kind of like my business mentor and whatnot, he's based out in Holland, and he has some connections with them, and they just actually opened a store in Amsterdam. It's pretty new from what I understand, and that's like pretty much the main reason why I'm going to Holland in like a month. I'm shooting a video for Bang & Olufsen and their Amsterdam store, which is super exciting.
Look, how do you stay composed when you're a 17-year-old high school dropout and you are in a boardroom meeting with a company with millions of seed capital, when you are networking with a multi-millionaire, when you're networking with an influencer who has 500,000, 1 million followers? Like, how do you stay calm? How do you know your own self-worth when you're right at the bottom? The number one thing I can say is don't qualify yourself. Now let me explain what I mean by this. You know, when you think someone's so much further or higher above you, you try and say all these things so they see your own self-worth. So you'll talk about this accolade, or maybe how much money you made here, or you know, how well you did in this endeavor. You really try to like big yourself up. Trust me, that is the worst thing you can do. These people are playing at such a high level, they can see right through that shit. The best thing you can do is don't qualify yourself. Look, as I said, these people are playing at such a high level. The sort of conversations they're having with other people, you know, who aren't in their circle, who aren't at like an elite level, is, you know, it's people just trying to like convey their value to them, and they won't even take the time to listen to the person. They're so interested in how do I show, you know, this guy or girl, how do I show them that I'm worthy of being here? And all that conveys to them is they know they're down here and they're trying to bring themselves up here. You act like you're here from the get-go, it's a lot better of a dynamic to start the meeting off in that way, start the conversation off in that way. Because as I said, they're playing at a high level, they've seen it all. They cut straight through that BS.
Now once I've woken up, I've gone to the gym, steam room, sauna, and I come back home, I meditate, then I read like 30 pages to 50 pages of a book, depending on whatever it takes to read a book a week that week. So as I said, I've gone to the gym, meditated, read, then from the notes I've written last night, I look at what I have to do, which is on Evernote. So after waking up at around 8, I'll be at this desk at around 10:30, ready to work.
But let me take you back exactly a year ago. I was actually sitting in the room right behind me with my mom, and I made her the promise that I would take her to Paris. So when I made this promise to her, it wasn't so much a promise, it was more an aspiration or a dream. And fast forward a year, here we are, and I get to make good on my promise. And now luckily I'm in a position where I get to take care of the people around me. I get to make sure that they're happy and they get the opportunities that I want them to have. And the reason I tell you this story is because when you're going through all these long nights, all these tough days, and things don't seem like they're working, if you make it all about you, you will inevitably quit. Whereas if you make it about something bigger than you, or another human being, it gives you this will and this extra energy, because you know that you're either going to disappoint
or make someone proud. Story done. Now I actually have to get to packing. Just ran a couple more ads for some clients. This just came in the mail. Funnel Hacker, Black Box, Russell Brunson. There's a few resources in there, so I might take that with me, as well as Perennial Seller, Ryan Holiday. I think these are my reading materials for the next few days. I've actually lost around 40% of total revenue from my marketing agency. And look, some of that lost revenue wasn't in my control, but some of it was. And some of it was because I got so numb to what brought me to success in the first place, which is constantly being a student, constantly keeping my ego intact, not staying comfortable, constantly learning. And as I say, keeping myself as a student, that is what brought me to success in the first place. But the problem with comfort is it breeds complacency. Because as I said, when you think you have everything that you need, even want, then you've hit the glass ceiling. There's nowhere left to go. Now this trip hasn't gone completely to plan. I had to cancel all of my first week's meetings, but now at least I have this week and I can be grateful for that. And once again, these meetings aren't to inquire or anything like that. These meetings are to sign the dotted line and for them to get started as clients of mine. So business is booming. Liver on. So here we go. My first employee stays with me for a week and then he basically decides, you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. I'm out of here. Obviously, that's not the exact reason. His heart wasn't really in it. It wasn't sort of the work he wanted to do, but you get my point. So, he goes back to America. I lose 50% of my total revenue. My apartment, that falls through because now I have to put all my money and focus back into rebuilding the business. That was early June. Then in August, I lose 50% of my clients. Now, if any of you guys haven't been in business long enough, August is just, like, no matter what industry you're in, August is just a shit month. I end up losing 50% of my clients. And once again, I take full responsibility for that because I would say that I got complacent. I didn't stay on the cutting edge of things. And for that reason, a few of my clients actually dropped me. And I'm more than happy to admit my fault there. I had just been getting into entrepreneurship I'd been in it for like 4 or 5 months sort of properly. And in April, I made I don't know if you can see that, 5,100 pounds after tax. So that's roughly $6,500 after tax, that is. And yeah, so that was kind of like my starting point, and that was only 6 months ago. And then to get to where I am now. But one thing that I wrote down, which was quite interesting, is I actually wrote down that my ideal lifestyle would cost me, like, I'm talking like financial abundance here, would cost me, let's let me pull this up, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Roughly, okay, so it cost me 18,500 pounds. I don't know how well you can see that. 18,500 pounds is how much like my ideal like financial freedom, financial abundance would cost me. And I wrote that 6 months ago and I thought, hey shit, like in 2-3 years I'll get there. And I made this, actually much more than this, last month, so 6 months later. And that's kind of an amazing feeling. So, after 14 years, it's time to move, I guess. First of all, I could never have imagined this a year ago. If I could only tell you guys the amount of pain and hardship that I went through to get here, and how hard I had to fight for my own place. I know people feel like a lot of people have excuses for themselves, and you know what, like, maybe, as I said, like, maybe your parents weren't great to you, or you know what, maybe you do live in a country where it's a bit harder, or like all of this stuff, like trust me, I know what that feels like, even to get this place. I'm 17 years old, like there were so many loopholes that I had to go through. I came from a not so good place, whether that was certain family things that went on, whether that was certain financial burdens at a young age, hanging around people that weren't that great for me. I'm happy, because this is my journey, this is my story, and I managed to make one of my little dreams come true, which was have a place to myself, have a place that I could call home, and that was a peaceful and just was a happy place for me. So this is hopefully going to be my happy place, guys, and I'm going to share every single step of the journey with you. I just remember just instances where I felt so helpless.
you know, if I don't take care of my family, even though it's just me and my mom, no one is, you know, and to this day, that's the case. And entrepreneurship was my way out. You know, entrepreneurship was my way out. Business was my way out. You know, and I remember even things like meditating. I started meditating 3 years ago. I started reading a book a week, which I actually recently stopped. But I read a book a week, almost like 90% track record for whatever, like 3 years or so.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so just to confirm, that's a Rolex 41mm, the Datejust.
Steel and yellow gold.
Steel and yellow.
Bezel on a Jubilee bracelet. We can do that for you if that's what you want.
Great. Thank you so much. I'll see you in around an hour.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Alright guys, so after calling around 4 different Rolex places, they finally found the one that I have with the exact specifications that I want. Guys, today is the day where I finally buy my Rolex. I've been wanting this forever and ever and ever, and to be able to buy it, you know, with completely my own money at the age of 18, this is gonna be a proud moment for me. So yeah guys, this is my, as I said, $15,000 Rolex. Hopefully that, you know, that inspires a couple of you, you know, to be frank, in 2016, I set my goal for 2017 as making a $15,000 profit for the entire like last year, you know, and obviously I blew through that to be able to get a watch for that price. As I said, guys, it's always just been a dream of mine. And you know, you imagine yourself, like when you have a vision of yourself and you imagine yourself and you imagine what you look like from like 10, 11, 12, no, probably like even 8, 7, 9. I have imagined myself and imagined myself with a Rolex. Like it's always just been a dream of mine. Guys, today I'm off to Hamburg and I'm there to see a client, so I'm training their team for 2 days. They have 2 companies actually. One which is an agency, gotta squat down. Second, which is a financial services like software, which is pretty cool. They're a client of mine, so flying out there to train their team and work on this new funnel. So guys, we are around halfway through here with the rest of the team. Say hi guys.
Hi guys.
And Thorsten's in another room just creating a couple slides for a video. Social media marketing, it brings so many opportunities. When I make 20, 25,000 a month from social media marketing, that's mine, that's profit. You know, that isn't me around with you guys with my revenue, which I only actually make 25% or 20% profit margin on. That is my money to keep, right? That's my money to keep. Yes, I have certain things that I outsource for, but once again, that's just because I don't want to do it myself. If I wanted to, I could do it myself. Work a little bit extra time, but keep 100% profit margin basically. It doesn't start like this. It starts with done for you, right? A year ago, I was doing just social media distribution and growth, right? And I was making 5,000 to 6,000 a month just by doing social media distribution and growth and a bit of content, right? And then you move into higher levels, more things that people will pay more for, like advertising and like paid ads and funnel creation and email marketing, you know, helping people run their retargeting ads, you know, because most people are just sloppy with that. So like, these are all things that you can help with. And then you can move into stuff that I'm moving into now, which is more a consultant role where you just come in, get paid a big fee, and then get the fuck out because you don't want to deal with that shit. That's kind of what I love about social media marketing, is that you're also just respected, and being respected is a great feeling, I'm not gonna lie, right? You're just respected. And seeing, for example, yesterday, like I was talking to the owners after, you know, after the workshop ended, he's just like, literally this changes everything for me. This literally changes everything for me. And you know, that's an amazing feeling when you can literally see in someone's eyes how their business has just been completely reformed and changed.
I would love to get, now, I know you're talking about this.
New potential client.
November to December.
Just came in as a new potential client. Well, I say potential, but pretty much the entire call was like, it was a great call. So probably 90% chance. We just have to have a meeting, close everything up, and yeah, we'll kind of move from there. So in the last 45 days, I have doubled my retainers from my agency. So this month we'll hit around 50, 55K. Now, obviously you guys follow me on Instagram. You'd know that 2 days ago, at the time of recording this, I actually signed a £4,000 a month client and a £7,800 a month client. So that is, what's that, like 11,000, he also last time my math, 11,800 pounds, which is like $16,000, right, in one day. And it was back-to-back meetings as well. So as I said, in the last 45 days, I've really just doubled my agency retainers, and I've did that all without a website. Actually extending my trip, I have a 2-day training with a company out here called Motivate Design. So if you guys don't already know, for a 2-day training, I charge $20,000. Well, I charge 15,000 pounds, which is equivalent to like $19,500, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that like really kills me is like, I always tell people like, don't do packages.
Yes.
Don't do packages, and also your pricing should be different per client. Like,
yeah.
So I don't know if that would
Client
work.
type or client?
Client type.
Yeah, I agree.
Client type. I don't know if that will work for your industry, but at least in my space, I know how much it's worth, and I also know how much work that goes in. So depending on that, I'll charge a different price. And also, it's like if you go to a doctor, right? If you go to a doctor and they're just like, take this medicine, and you're like, I haven't told you what my issue is yet.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, you just be like, this person's just out to like
scam me
or like misinform me, or just like take my money, and they just don't. Or if you go to like a pharmacy or something, they're just like, take this medicine, you're like, I haven't told you what's wrong. They just want your money. So I'm onboarding a client called Ring. We've been in talks for like 2 months now, so it's like this little piece of tech right here. It's pretty dope. I think this thing's like titanium or something like that. But anyways, I'm onboarding them, as you can see, and if you take a look at my screen, like onboarding them yesterday or like a few days ago, Prince Harry actually got spotted like wearing it, and ever since then, like sales have been just freaking like blowing up, and website traffic as well. This has given us like a crap ton of website traffic. So yeah, that's the company Ring right there. I mean, they're a client of mine, but I can genuinely recommend it after having this for like a month now. So the thing that I want you to get from this entire story is, you know, never made any excuses for my age, or, you know, being in school, or, you know, not having rich parents, or like, I bootstrapped this entire fucking thing, and that's everything I've done up until this point. Everything I've done has been without zero investment, without zero fucking guidance, with, you know, every single excuse that most people give. I went ahead and I did it. For the next 2 months in Bali, it's just gonna try and be as efficient as possible work-wise. I came into Bali kind of knowing that, or at least in terms of my business and I guess other areas of my life, this is gonna be more of like a maintenance phase rather than a time when I'm really trying to scale and grow. That said, for those of you guys who are in the six-figure estimate community, I think I mentioned in one of the live Q&A calls, the last like 6 months I've been doing stuff that hasn't been really revenue generating. If I look at around April, May, June, I was focusing very, very heavily on my agency, training up my employee, and really focusing on scaling that, which I did. So exactly as I said, very weird. They wanted to like look over the contract and stuff, which is
that's the problem with doing with multiple business owners.
Which is, yeah, I guess. Yeah, because I mean, to be honest, they're like literally we've had clients sign £15,000 a month retainers and like not request to look at the contract, because it's like, I don't know, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just something that's legitimately never come up, because obviously they pay, and then after that they get the onboarding link and then the onboarding funnel, and then part of that is they sign a contract using HelloSign, but once again you can use, I think, Panda Doc or Panda Sign, you know, one of these electronic contract softwares. So yeah, it was weird. Part of me was like, that's why I said, like, you know, there's that chance that they don't close. So I thought the closing may be like, oh, maybe the business partner like really was against it, but the business partner said he's super enthusiastic about it. But yeah, you know, so that's kind of the annoying thing about having multiple people involved. But I got a call with them at 4:15 Cape Town time tomorrow, and that will lock it in, hopefully. And if they don't lock in, then obviously, you know, I'll know that they're not being serious. So everything so far, kind of like the stalls, because usually for me it's a one call close, you know, to get to the second sort of follow-up 15-minute call and then now a third call, that rarely ever happens for me. But you know, everything has been valid so far, and it stems from the fact that there's not one person in charge, not two, but three. So I'll call with them 4:15 tomorrow, and I also got another very, very promising call tomorrow at 7:15. And that is with this really, really cool software company that I'd be very, very happy if I managed to close, because yeah, I just think they're super dope. But anyways, there you go. There's the real life of being an agency owner, which is
you don't always get the outcome that you want, but hopefully tomorrow I can lock it in, even though it took longer than I normally like. All right, so it is one day since I picked up the camera, and the situation is literally exactly the same. We basically haven't moved because, to be honest, you know, after that last clip, worked for 3-4 more hours, was in bed by 9:30, and just been working all day since. So nothing really that eventful, but now I have the follow-up call to yesterday's follow-up call. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so as it stands, they are 7 minutes late. So just went ahead and followed up. So I'll stay on the call maybe 7-8 more minutes, and then wrap it up there. All right, so it's been 15 minutes, gonna end it up there. Yeah, not entirely sure what happened. I'm sure there is a viable reason. Obviously, like a client's never just not gonna show up and not tell you, or at least at this stage of the sales process. So I'm sure there must be a very viable reason. But obviously this, once again, is just another sign, in my opinion, that the client is less likely to actually come on board. So from their side, it's looking less likely. And then obviously from my side, it leaves, I'm at a point in my agency where unless it's 100% match, I don't take clients on. And this is almost leaving a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, where I'm even starting to reassess, is this client worth taking on? Are they gonna be those sorts of clients where they ask too many questions and don't just let us do our thing and get the results? But yeah, anyway, so that's that. I got another call in 2 hours and 45 minutes, another sales call. So hopefully with that, we can return to good old Iman and just one call closed. So like this client was excited to move forward. Like they were sold. For me, I get a little aggravated because I'm like, you know, why? In my mind, it's like, why wait? Like, you know, let's get started now. Let's get the ship moving. And as I've matured as an agency owner, I've had to, you know, look subjectively and remove my ego from a situation. And also, apart from removing my ego, I also knew that I was filming this video today, and I'm not gonna lie, that played into it. Like I really wanted to show you guys the Stripe notification hitting and this and that. And that was at the back of my mind, which is why, like, guys, I'm doing a vlog, but in general, I don't like to vlog my day-to-day because there's certain things I find myself doing, or more pressure I put on myself. Like I think you guys have seen me when I was meant to close a 5,200, or it was either 52 or 5,500 pound a month client, and I didn't end up closing them. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel as though I might potentially act differently, or I may not think as long-term in terms of the sales cycle when I'm doing a vlog with you guys. But anyways, long story short is they want to actually process payment and just have a little last look at their finances before making that 10K upfront payment. And as I said, I had to look at it from a macro view and go, look, either I can keep pushing, but I'm not going to achieve that goal of them paying. So there's no upside, there's only downside by the fact that the client may be like, mentally they might be going, first of all, are you concerned that we're not gonna, like, you know, there's a different balance, a shift of balance and power play there. So I just kind of let off, and but still booked in that 20-minute follow-up call on Tuesday, and quite clearly it turned out to be the right thing, because somewhere around 20-30 minutes after our meeting, I got this email that I'll put in right now and blur any sensitive information, but they literally went ahead and said, look, we're excited to move forward. Can we just pay you 5K today and 5K next week? You don't even need to start any of the work for the funnel. We just want to do this to show you that we're serious. And I was like, oh yeah, of course.
I know what it is.
What?
It's the first one that is as early as this one, and you have a very different, like, energy, resemblance, everything. We need to set them up all in the morning.
Yeah, I agree. In the mornings,
Morning on your kind of evening. I'm excited. Lots of new clients, lots of good clients.
Next thing that I learned in 2020, or at least I had a lot more appreciation for, is depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts. You know, because it really can happen to anyone. And I kind of had one of those dark night of the soul moments in 2020. So for some context, you know, before July-ish, August-ish of 2020, I had never experienced anxiety in my life, had never experienced depression in my life, you know, suicidal thoughts, this, that. Maybe a little bit when I was younger. You know, actually, in all fairness, here and there when I was younger, you know, I went through a pretty traumatic upbringing, just saw some not very nice things. So I guess that was that. But in my teenage years and you know, more recent years, never really experienced those things. And July
just came out of nowhere. You know, I remember this is maybe mid-July, and I was in Manchester for a couple months boxing. And I came back to London for a weekend and, you know, just hung out with some friends, you know, went for dinner, had some bottles of wine. You know, there was probably 10 of us. A couple of my guy friends and I had some cigars, went to a party, this, that. I ended up getting home pretty late, probably like 5:30. I remember I woke up at like 9:30, got in my shower, turned on the shower, laid crisscross applesauce on the floor, and just started weeping. And it was a very, you know, at that time I was very confused because I didn't know why, but I was just really, really sad. And what that started was a 6-week bout of just really, really intense anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. Like, I remember I would wake up and my heart would just be pounding. And obviously the first thing that I would do when that would happen is I would go and, you know, I was in Manchester and, you know, drove up and brought my Juve, which is like a red light therapy thing. I would sit in front of my Juve and just meditate for 15 minutes because, you know, I thought that if my heart rate is up and I'm feeling anxious, I can meditate this away. It's no issues. You know, I've been meditating for 7 years. I can meditate this away. Wouldn't go away. And it got to a point where after that crisscross applesauce event, you know, it kind of just things deteriorated for 2 to 3 weeks to the point where, I mean, I was in the midst of a full-blown mental breakdown. And I remember from the moment in which I woke up, it was crazy, the craziest experience I've ever had. From the moment I woke up to probably 4 or 5 p.m., the only way I can describe it is almost like being possessed by some demon. Or that something else was like, some other life force was inside of me, or almost like, I guess what it feels like to be bipolar, where it's like, it's two different people. From 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., the only thing was on my mind for a solid like 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, was how I was going to kill myself. And by the time that 4 or 5 p.m. rolled around, I was totally fine. I was happy. I was smiling. But on another note, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., I probably would cry 4 or 5 times. And, you know, I'm smiling now because it's just like, it's so wild to think about it. But it was such a painful, such a painful, period of my life. And, you know, from that point, once again, I was that time unintentionally celibate for 3 months because I was dealing with so much personally that I couldn't share my energy with anyone else. Even if it was just for a night, the idea of that was just the last thing on my mind. I just wanted to protect my own energy and just do a lot of healing. So, you know, I think that a lot of people are really scared to be just alone with themselves, and you shouldn't be. I think you need to really look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, have I done a lot of the work? Have I done a lot of the healing work? And am I ready to share my energy with someone else? At the end of the day, I'm 21 and there's so much left.
So look, 2021 was a crazy year in many, many ways. The agency hit its record month in April of 2021. We expanded the team further. And the best part is all of that was happening while I was only spending 5 to 10 hours a week on the agency, because Danny, who's my CMO at the agency, he was just amazing. You know, we had been working together for 3, almost 4 years at that point. We had great synergy, and he basically just ran the show. A big life event happened for me. I actually moved from London to Dubai, and obviously that had some very, very, very good tax implications for me. And lastly, between the agency profits as well as the gains that I actually locked in from the increase in my investment portfolio, I made $9 million in 2021 between those two. And 2021 really made me look at the business and realize, what is the purpose of this thing? You know, what is the purpose of this agency? What's the real benefit that I get from it? And I realized that the main benefit is, an agency is such an amazing cash flow business, so you have to take these profits from it and then actually go ahead and take that and make a commitment to making contributions every single month to your investment portfolio. So I would actually take $100,000 every single month from my agency, and I'd use that, and by the way, I still do that to this day, and I put that into my investment portfolio directly. When you have cash flow, you invest it, and then you let the compounding nature of time do its trick. And when you follow this method, you are able to attain riches beyond your wildest imagination. So ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to make this video because I still get so many DMs and messages from people going, I cannot believe you still have videos up on your YouTube channel from 2015. And by the way, I didn't even show you the 2015 clips here today. You know, I have clips of me going to Brixton Bookmongers, which was my favorite secondhand used bookstore in London, because I couldn't afford to buy the brand new books from Waterstone, so I would go and get them used at Brixton Bookmongers instead. You know, in this video, you guys were able to see me basically dreaming about being able to afford Ubers, just basic Ubers, rather than having to take the bus everywhere with my friends. And I know that some of you may be new to the channel and, you know, you're thinking that I'm just another expert, you know, who one day decided that, you know, he knew enough about business to create some YouTube videos and share his opinion and stuff like that. No, like, I'm just a regular dude. And I'm just trying to share the things that I've learned over the past 6 years in the world of business. I built this house brick by brick over the space of the last half a decade, and I'm still building to this day. In fact, next month is actually the 6-year anniversary of me starting my agency back in 2016. It has been a crazy journey, and it's just the beginning. So to end off this video, I want to thank my mom. And yes, my mom does actually still watch every single one of my YouTube videos. So Mom, I know you're watching this. I want to thank my incredible team at my agency. I want to thank all of you guys, especially the ones who have literally been watching my YouTube videos from 2015, 2016, 2017, which, by the way, I don't know why you were watching back then. Like, I had the most boring YouTube channel on earth. And of course, lastly, I want to thank the grace of God for turning what felt like a horror story the first 15 years of my life into, quite frankly, a fairy tale. If you ever doubt yourself, I want you to save this video to your YouTube and keep coming back to it. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you are me, I am you, we are no different. And with enough time, you will come to realize that too. Your destiny is there for the taking, and I want you to know that I am your #1 silent supporter. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an incredible ride. I'll see you in the next video.